You're not going to be able to leave your house in 2021. The year's going to be shit.
Bro, who would have thought a pandemic would do this?
This is bad. This is bad. This is bad.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy KSI, and I'm here with Simon, Josh, and Toby. And today we are reacting to why 2021 will be a horrible year. Okay.
Optimistic on that.
Well then.
When you come to the side react channel to make your day better, people say. I was about to ruin your day. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks KSI for the great suggestion once again.
Well, I mean, it was no. It wasn't my suggestion.
What was your suggestion?
Someone from the people.
Suggestion?
One of the people suggested it, and I saw it. And then I was like, yo, let's see what this is about.
To be fair, we should put that format in the description of every single video.
Yeah, we should.
And we get more and better suggestions. So if you have a suggestion, down below in the description, hopefully it's there.
In the description. It will be there. It will be there. It will be there.
I specifically remember KSI saying this video will be fun to watch.
No. I'm just intrigued to see. Like,
hey, maybe it will be. Let's just press play.
No,
we'll
he said
find
something
out.
about laughing at paupers. I don't know. It was something like that.
Wait, shut up. Stop. What are you?
Yeah, the snake.
Snake? What do you mean?
Yeah, KSI, you're the snake.
No.
that was guilty conscience, you know.
He's not sneaking anyone, bro. No, anyway, let's just move on.
2020 wasn't exactly a barrel of laughs for most people. We won't even go into biblical fires, floods, famine, and swarms of hungry locusts. COVID-19 was a good enough reason to get most people to admit that 2020 wasn't their favorite year to date. You don't have to get the virus to hate the damn thing. Maybe it robbed you of work. Maybe it drove you half crazy trying to fully understand it. Maybe it made you anxious and depressed as it did for millions of others. Maybe after lockdown you looked at your protruding belly and almost thought you were pregnant.
JJ?
Let's face it. We can all make some
I'm actually in shape, you know. Like, man's 91 kg.
Yeah, but what shape?
In shape.
All I can picture right now is you hanging out of that window at Beta Squad House.
I love my friends.
We love you too, bro.
Watching JJ run at Leighton Orient.
The question is, can things get any worse? Could 2021 be a kind of horror sequel to 2020?
Beg the
Do you
answer,
remember
no.
that tagline from the movie Jaws? Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Let's imagine the movies. 2020, the year of the pandemic, and the sequel, 2021, the beginning of the end. Maybe you're now thinking, no way, no damn way will next year be worse than this. Things couldn't get any worse. Well, we're sorry to inform you, but things could always get worse. Now you need to hear how things could really go down in 2021. It goes without saying that if no COVID-19 vaccine was released and available to the public at large next year, then deaths could continue to spiral and lockdowns could carry on, destroying economies and wrecking families. As we write this, there's news about a vaccine, and it is positive news. Preliminary trials suggest it works, but it's early days. And also, as we write this, there has been a huge spike in COVID daily deaths. What if the virus mutates into something worse? Is that even possible? According to Nature magazine, one of the better science resources out there, the virus has been mutating.
This video is
what a well-known virologist said about that, but
going downhill.
99% of you, it would sound like scientific
That's what COVID looks
gobbledygook.
like.
In simple terms,
I didn't open 3 pestles. What?
Wait, so it's already been mutating?
We already knew that, didn't we?
I believe so, yes. And some strands get stronger, apparently. Or like more hard-hitting.
Brilliant.
The good news is scientists came out and said the media exaggerated that. You can go online and see the numerous news stories with headlines saying things like mutation more contagious and mutation more deadly.
So you were wrong.
That might not be true at the moment, but the fact is this virus could get worse next year. It's unlikely, but it definitely could happen. In November, a group of scientists was asked to predict what the state of the pandemic would be in 21.
What's going on
you guessed it,
What
they
is
had no
animations?
idea. One scientist at Yale
It's
said the Pfizer vaccine
infographic.
looks promising,
That's
but he
how they
also
always
said
are.
even if the vaccine passes more
It's
trials
outdated
with
now,
flying
'cause
colors,
Pfizer vaccine
it'll
has been
take
used.
many months to get people
Is
vaccinated.
that not what they're giving people right now?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like, as we speak.
If you have allergic reactions, you can't have it.
Oh, wow.
Because like, too bad, like really bad side effects or something.
Do they know what the allergy is?
No, it just said
No, they
allergic
just said if you have
reactions.
allergic reactions in general.
What?
Well, if you have any allergic reaction, you can't have it. So
Why
like,
have hay fever?
I
That's
I've
no
got,
reaction, no?
I have peanuts.
I have peanuts.
I have peanuts.
I have a peanut allergy, so
I have peanuts.
fuck's sake.
Josh, you have mushroom.
True. And hay fever. I've got a mushroom tip.
What?
Whoa,
No one
what?
said that.
No one
said that.
That's the only part of the mushroom that I'm allergic to.
The tip.
The tip. Oh god.
Just the tip.
But you can take the shaft of a mushroom.
Okay, guys, what's going on, guys?
I can
What's
take
going on?
it, but I'm not allergic to it.
Oh god, I played the video.
Not magically disappear. Well,
Nice.
it likely won't. Viruses have been known to peter out in the past, but we might have another year on our hands. Another scientist said it won't be enough just vaccinating certain groups of people, i.e. those most vulnerable. In other words, we aren't going to solve the COVID problem just because we most likely have a vaccine that will stop COVID in its tracks for 80%
Great.
of those that are given it. More virus
you hate
casualties
Toby?
are only a possibility, but what's almost certain is the chaos that will happen next year because of global lockdowns. The fallout from lockdowns is very real. Some astute investors, COVID-19 contractors, tech folks, and vaccine makers might be getting incredibly rich as the
Like a
sun
vape pen.
shines down on empty streets. But the vast majority of folks have been hit hard by the pandemic. It might be bad now, but what about next year? It's hard to say just how many people have lost their jobs due to lockdowns. As we write this, The Guardian says 670,000 jobs have been lost in the UK since the start of the year. Spain, a country that is very reliant on tourism for its economy, is said to be the hardest hit country in Europe. In Thailand, it's reported that 1 million people working in the tourism industry lost their job this year, and they had no help or hardly any help from the government.
I mean, this is already depressing as it is.
This is really.
You chose this video. This might be worse than the cricket funnies.
No.
At least the cricket funnies was funny.
Well,
For all the wrong reasons.
This is
I mean,
Spain without the
this
S,
is
bro.
living up to what I thought it would be, though. Like, it's just more depressing.
I mean, we could. There was no way that this could be good, realistically.
yeah, true.
OECD statistics show a massive economic decline
That's
in
a
many
positive
countries.
graph.
The Pew Research Center said in September, 1 in 4 U.S. adults had trouble paying their bills since the
1 in 4.
outbreak. It also reported
Wow.
25% of people said that someone in their house had lost
Wow.
their job. 50% of
This
them
video
had
is
another
just getting
job, but the
worse.
other half is still unemployed. Okay, so these statistics are going to change a lot, but one thing is for sure, there will be no more magic wands available. Millions and millions of people around the world are going to face hardship and debt next year. COVID poverty is very real. We might see how these hardships manifest next year. We already know that in the US, suicide hotlines have been busier than ever this year.
getting worse,
Worried
bro.
about
It
the
was
effect
literally
stress
news on
has on the
screen.
body? Yep, it negatively affects the efficacy of the immune system. That might translate into more health problems next year. In the US, there's already a drug addiction problem
You say
that
crime's
is
gonna go up as
frankly
well.
out of control. The question is, with all this
guess,
job
yeah.
loss, stress, and depression, do you think 2021 will see positive results regarding
got
addiction?
bunto.
Listen to this excerpt from a research paper
Trying
that
to get
was
some
published
positive
in
spin on the
July.
video.
According
Yeah,
to a
I'm
recent
trying,
study
bro.
from the Wellbeing Trust, the high levels of stress, isolation, and
Hey,
unemployment
can
due
we
to the
stop this and
COVID-19
just watch Calix's video? Well, I mean, that one at least has some, positivity to it. It at least gives you
He
some.
spins negatives into positives.
Yeah, he gives you some insight and stuff. This
Maybe
one is just.
but this might at the end. It
this
might go.
is bad.
It might
This
go.
is
But
bad.
hey, guys,
This
we're
is
all
bad.
still alive and we're all
No,
still
it's
kicking.
not. This one is basically telling us that everyone's gonna die in 2021.
And we're not all still alive.
No, people watching it would you'd be like, okay, look, if you watch this video, look, you're still here, you're still alive, it will get better. That's what it's gonna say.
Yeah,
I believe in the video, it's gonna happen.
As for suicides, we're not going to bother citing all the news media and studies. Look for yourself. Thoughts of suicide and actual suicide have increased in many countries. So, if you were the kind of person to gamble, how much money would you put on 2021 being a bumper year for
Can't care, so
addiction,
you do.
suicide, ill health, and mental illness?
yeah. I don't.
I think it'd be a good year.
I know. You know what? Let's still be positive.
Grand on it being.
I think it'd be a good year. I think people will spin it. I think people will have a positive outlook on it.
The issue is people do think that as soon as it hits midnight on New Year's,
Everything's gonna be
that
good.
it will actually change.
COVID just goes, you know what, actually, I'm giving you a rough year. I'm a piece.
Have fun. Enjoy this year. I'll be back 2022.
But I don't think lockdowns that will ever get worse now.
I don't think we'll have another lockdown.
What about crime rates? We already know this year the murder rate went through the roof in some
murder?
big cities in the US. But do you think this will be a trend in 2021? What about domestic violence? What happens when you upset the flow of drugs and gangs and they struggle to get their cut? It's too early to say just how crime rates will be affected by lockdowns, but so far, the outlook isn't good. COVID has created a perfect storm, and we don't think anyone will disagree. The question is, how bad will the storm be? Maybe it'll fade away and not be half as bad as some people think, or maybe it'll be far worse. A real home wrecker. 2021 could be the year that crime goes through the roof. Maybe some people already know this in the US because gun purchases drastically increased this year. Okay, so far we have mass job loss. As a result of this, we have stress. We also have depression and debt.
Thank
We
you.
might see some more drug and alcohol use abuse, and we might see surges
Thanks,
in crime.
KSI.
Is that it? The end of the show?
But
No.
I love, bro, we're not even halfway through the video. Oh my god.
Things could get a lot worse. Imagine this scene. It's July 2021, and you just gone out to Walmart to pick
Look,
up
we're in
that gift
Ibiza.
for your aunt's birthday. You walk through the doors, and before you can get that far, a robot that looks like a mini version of those Doctor Who Daleks approaches you.
Exterminate.
It doesn't say
Dalek,
exterminate,
you know.
but it says
It's a Dalek.
do not enter. Go
Where's
straight
that
back
going?
home. You are currently in violation
Oh.
of Clause 6.0606 of the Enhanced Freedom to Not Do Much law. Do not ignore this demand. Oh, and you have an outstanding parking fine. And we also know about that sketchy website you visited at
definitely
2:38
try
p.m.
something
last
there.
week. We're just kidding, of course, but privacy advocates around the world are right now very
you see
concerned
where that was
about
pointing
new
at?
surveillance
Yes,
technology.
yes, at his dick. I'm trying to listen, fam.
bro, it's the same thing. It's you're not going to be able to leave your house in 2021. The year's going to be shit.
No.
No, they're about privacy now. They're saying
Yeah,
that
this is-
the surveillance on us is going to be stronger.
What? No. It's shout out to Bill Gates and his vaccine, isn't it?
Was it Bill Gates?
I don't think this is what he's talking about. I think he's talking about
No,
something else.
he's talking about the vaccine tracking all of our.
I don't think he is about to say
legit.
that. I think he's talking. Let's pray and find out what he's talking about though.
He's talking about surveillance, like track and trace type shit.
Yo, no, Bill Gates is tracking that 90-year-old woman in commentary.
Bro,
For God's sake.
shut up.
Press
I
play.
don't know what he's on.
We already have facial recognition cameras that can tell if you have a high temperature. We already have drones and robots that move around public spaces and tell you what to do. These things might help in time of crisis, but is there a chance that this technology will create a kind of dystopia that we've been seeing in sci-fi movies for a while now? Some of the biggest human rights organizations this year came out and said they were worried governments might use the pandemic as an excuse to curtail our freedom. When governments enforce restrictions on our freedom, they usually stay. And 2020 is just a warm-up for 2021. If the virus doesn't go away, perhaps in 21 we'll be tracked and traced to the extent that we start to feel our freedoms have diminished.
Told you,
Will
Jim.
next year usher in police
Josh.
states around the world? We've already seen how governments spy on us without telling us, but could things get a lot worse? As the American Civil Liberties Union wrote, maybe after they've watched you outside and in your home and on the web.
Do you mind getting
Yeah,
No, I actually couldn't care less.
that's what I was about to say. Like, I don't think it's a big deal.
like in London? They always say like you're is it one of the most like surveilled? What's the word?
Heavily surveilled.
Well, yeah,
areas.
most like watch people in the world by cameras and stuff. But that kind of makes you feel safe at the same time.
Yeah, because
Like no matter where I go in London, there's a camera that can see me.
yeah, so you know, like if there's a crime or anything, you know the person who has done the crime will probably get caught. Like,
I feel like as long as you're not doing anything wrong,
That's
then
it,
you
then
shouldn't really
there's
worry
no
about
problem.
being
Yeah.
watched. The government don't care. Oh, KSI is on Pornhub again. What's he doing?
That's what I
he's
mean.
a bit-
These-
Oh wait, he's cum shots, yeah. None of that.
He's gone for lesbian today. All right. Well.
Oh.
No, but it's more about stuff like the concerns around governments like selling your data to private companies and stuff. That's where people have the issues, no?
But are they gonna sell my data so they can advertise me their new product?
I've never got adverts about dwarf porn. Like what? No, but like I've never had an advert like that, and so like
What just happened?
I think JJ just admitted to watching dwarf porn.
What just happened?
I think he just admitted to watching dwarf porn.
bro, it's just being able to like pick them up and just.
Okay,
Oh,
I don't like
anyway.
this.
We are concerned that some solutions to the crisis may, via mission creep, result in systems which would allow unprecedented surveillance of society at large. China is already a surveillance state that's criticized in the West, but don't be surprised if in 2021 Western countries adopt the China monitoring model. Welcome to the new normal, aka 1984, a true story by George Orwell. And for our viewers in China, well, we know you can only watch our show via proxy since YouTube is banned there, but just know that you're in our thoughts. And what about that necessity we call food? During the height of the pandemic, the New York Times reported that food banks across the U.S. couldn't meet the demand of the hungry. Demand for food assistance is rising at an extraordinary rate, said the newspaper.
Hey yo, what's Jeff Bezos doing?
How's that come about?
No, bro. My man's
Okay,
like,
peas.
no, bro. Surely he's watching this video like I could do bits. Like I could actually like make everyone's 2021.
Does he actually have? Like, the thing to say is like I don't. He hasn't.
He
got
doesn't
the money.
actually. He doesn't
Amazon
actually have the money. Yeah. He's like.
He doesn't have in his bank account like
Isn't that
100
what he's
billion
like-
sitting
isn't
there.
that what he's,
Amazon
like,
is
worth?
worth that much
Yeah,
money,
yeah,
so he has to
yeah.
sell Amazon and then he can do stuff.
Yeah, and know who the fuck's gonna buy Amazon? Who the fuck can buy?
No one can
Amazon?
afford
The
Amazon.
side men.
I
What?
wish.
Did you, this,
Will by Amazon.
Jesus.
A heavily
I'd love
discounted
to,
rate.
but no.
well, I don't think we can buy 1% of Amazon.
We couldn't.
Oh, I guess we're gonna have to stick to sidemenClothing.com.
Hey!
Everyone should check out and subscribe, please.
Wait, subscribe. We've got a newsletter too, so you can subscribe to
Oh
that.
god, don't worry guys, 4 more minutes and we're done with this.
Pausing it then. Stop
I'm
pausing it,
losing
bro.
my mind, bro. This is really sad.
You can go online and read about food queues stretching for miles, and that's not only in the US. The Guardian reported in November that there was an emerging group of people in the UK, what it called the newly hungry. These were mostly desperate middle-income families, not only poor families.
Yeah, he skipped leg
So
day.
think about it. Economies probably won't go into
can't
hyperdrive
eat.
in 21. Jobs won't all just come back since so many businesses have gone for good. Get ready for a new normal of food banks popping up all over the place next year. Experts also think homeless rates will rise next year. In the US, the Coalition for the Homeless said there will be a tsunami of evictions if people don't get help from the government to assist them to pay their rent. This help will have to be ongoing if it's to work. Right now in the US, there's an eviction moratorium to protect people, but that's only in place until December 31st. One expert predicts mass evictions at the beginning of the new year. What an awful come down that would be after
They
the
put
celebration.
fireworks for that.
Let's also remember that
Put it
while a
calm
lot of
down.
our viewers come from the US, millions of people who watch our shows come from countries that have very threadbare safety nets for people in place who've hit a financial rock bottom. What if people don't get the help they need? If you walk down some streets in LA or city centers in UK cities, you'd think these two countries belong to the developing world or worse, post-apocalyptic nations. The homeless problem is insane and it could get much worse next year. The Washington Post wrote in September that hundreds of millions of people were on the brink of starvation because of the pandemic. Oxfam wrote that the world should be prepared for a hunger pandemic. Other organizations are warring off mass starvation in poorer nations that are already suffering from endless conflicts and agricultural chaos. The World Bank estimated in 2020 that by 2021 there will be 150 million more people living in extreme poverty.
150 million.
Can we stop watching?
Yeah.
Can you put some positive spins on this video? Can you at least
I
say
mean,
like
I don't
Where's
think we're
the
gonna
but?
get one.
all these like companies are out of business, but the world's changed, so that means there's no, like, brand new emerging markets, which creates more jobs. Like, why can't they just have like some kind of positive spin?
Bro, who would have thought a pandemic would do this?
Everyone.
Probably everyone.
If you didn't think this, then oof.
But what if millions of people do start to face starvation? What can be the upshot of that
Well, those are the
besides
world's
dying or
smallest
ill
pitchforks.
health? Well, one thing that might happen is people start looking for a populist despot to get them out of the fix. More conflicts could break out, more war, more desperation. If history has taught us anything, it's that
More Among
that's
Us.
always a recipe for disaster. If wealthier nations start seeing more people without enough to eat, what might be the consequence of that? More desperate voters rallying behind the banner of a despot. More honest people turn to a life of crime. People will do anything to survive. Not enough food in 2020 could mean devastation in 2021. America's infamous prison industrial complex is probably getting ready for a big expansion. Could it get any worse than that? Yes, of course.
Oh my god.
There's no
Seriously?
positive thing coming. There's no
Country in
positive
terms
spin.
of politics. Conservatives are constantly arguing with liberals, and it seems no
Put
side
back the
will
girl
back
with
down.
Bunda on
The
again.
haves don't seem to care much about the have-nots.
I like cricket
The
funnies
latter is
again.
asking who's got my back. The former cares less about poverty than it does about who said what on Twitter. Just look online and check out Protests 2020. It's been a big year for disagreements. This could, of course, lead to progressive change, and we all might live happily ever after, maybe in the long run.
That sounds
anyway.
good.
But what if all this division leads to larger protests that turn to violence that manifests as a civil war? Something has got to give. There
doesn't
has to
sound
be a
good.
middle ground, or 2021 could be a very ugly year. Let's not forget that people genuinely fight for causes. But when you throw in mass unemployment and hunger, sometimes anger comes ahead of reason. Maybe
Why is the
you'll
world
be lucky enough
sideways?
to have cash
I was
in
thinking that. I
2021,
was trying to head
but
to
that
side.
doesn't mean you won't
Yeah.
suffer. Travel research showed that during lockdowns in 2020, people were gunning to get out of their country and travel. But what if that can't happen next year? What if borders don't open? What if the travel you have to navigate so much red tape, it's just not worth the trouble? That'll mean another year in the same place, watching the same disaster
Americans feel
news,
cancelled
wondering
differently
when
to
you'll
us.
ever be able to escape.
Oh, they did a whole
So
loop.
this is
It's
all
back to
very
this.
grim, but remember, it's a worst-case scenario show. Don't worry, soon we'll turn all this on its back and give you a best-case scenario
Yeah.
show. We hope we
Please,
haven't
I
depressed
need
you.
that.
Remember, things could always be worse. And
Surely the best
if you need
scenario is
little
like a
silver li-
30-second video.
We just go back to normal.
Yeah. COVID goes, everyone's happy. Done. I'm not gonna lie, I woke up thinking I'm gonna take on the world today. It's gonna be a good day.
He's going
Blame
back to bed.
KSI.
I'm
Blame
going
KSI.
straight back to bed.
Blame Jid.
This is awful.
Flame ski.
Woo! Yeah,
Simon,
2021! Let's
You're a very
go!
blessed individual. I don't think you'll be starving next year.
Give more money to charity.
No.
Fair enough.
Thanks for watching. Yo, subscribe to us, please.
Yeah.